What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of DGT Live.
Take
coming
two.
at ya. Happy holidays and season's greetings to everybody watching us from internet world. And this is your family-friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture. I'm your host, Leo, along with
Francisco,
the webmaster.
What's
That's what I think about when I
A
think of somebody
webmaster?
like, I'm the webmaster. I think of like a dude with a whip and a top hat.
Okay, all right,
The
fair
top
enough.
hat. The top hat.
So,
just
so
the
where's,
top hat.
where's Rick?
The webmaster. Rick, hashtag Rickless today. Rick is off
Being busy?
being busy.
Understatement.
Yeah, man. He
Oh, look at my farmer stand. It's coming out neat.
he's farmer stand. He's becoming a daddy for the third time ever.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah,
Three
today
times the dad, huh?
tonight might be the night. I really doubt it. We got about 4 hours till midnight here on the West Coast.
Maybe not tonight, maybe tomorrow.
So most likely by tomorrow, which puts us at December 19th?
Right. Yeah. Sounds about a good time to be born.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Extra presents, I guess.
Yep.
He steals some of the thunder from the other December child.
That's right. You get a Christmas and a birthday. So
Yeah, 'cause I'm not talking about, the reason why we celebrate Christmas. I'm talking about the other child that they have that was also born on. I'm not talking about baby Jesus. No,
no baby Jesus.
Don't get no ideas out there, internet
Alrighty.
world. Man, big week for all us nerds out there.
Yeah.
A new
So-
Star Wars was released.
So if you haven't seen The Last Jedi yet, I mean, are we going to spoil it? Are we going to talk spoilers?
We're
or
gonna talk with light spoilers
Light.
at first, but
At-
then
if we might get into
once
things.
we get heavy duty into it, we'll let you know. What's
Yeah,
up.
we don't want to lose you, so we're going to let you know, cover your ears, wait like 5 seconds. We'll give you like a signal like, all right, come back in. And then, yeah. But we're going to talk about The Last
Melinda's
Jedi.
watching us. Melinda says
Melinda.
she has a December birthday also.
All right.
I'm curious. If you don't want to share here in public with us, but I'm
The
curious to
age?
know what's
You don't ask
what's
that,
the
lady.
date? What's the date?
And they?
I'm curious.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm a December baby.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. 25th, right?
Christmas Eve.
24th, that's right.
Christmas Eve. I'm a Christmas Eve baby.
Yeah,
I
you
shared-
get birthday
shared my
and
birthday
Christmas.
with baby Jesus.
That's cool.
Hey, Jesus.
All right. All right, so The Last Jedi.
Uh,
We have...
Wait, but I'm just gonna give them a rundown before we
Alright.
get into that.
Okay.
Last Jedi wasn't even the most important thing that happened this week.
No?
Disney acquiring
Oh,
Fox.
that's right.
Disney
Yeah.
officially made it happen now. For $52 billion, they have acquired Fox. We also have a brand new richest man in the world.
That's true.
And the Amazon dude, I keep forgetting his name.
I don't know his name. but
Kudos. We also have
Lost the internet. So there's that.
Yeah, we lost our battle for net neutrality.
It's going to be interesting to see
What
what
a shame.
happens. For those of you that don't know what the net neutrality is, I guess the best way I can explain it is that the whole internet kind of goes hand in hand with little websites and big websites like YouTube and Amazon. And what happens is that, of course, there's more people that go to Amazon, thus creating more traffic than a regular website. But the net neutrality rules allow those two same websites to be brought the same, so that whenever anybody requested them, it wasn't going to do a slowdown just because it's a smaller website. They were going to have the same priority. Well, now... I hate this dude. I don't even know his name. I don't even care to know his name. He's the chairman of the FCC. Pretty much rush a vote to Congress to allow the FCC to regain control and abolish net neutrality. So what that means is that in the near future, it may be that if you want to watch YouTube at home, you might not be able to if YouTube doesn't pay your provider enough money to keep them, afloat.
Right.
If you have a website like we do, we have digitalgametime.com. Your provider might not care about our website, might not be available when you request it. So there's a lot of things to worry about. All the providers are saying, don't worry about it. We're not going to do any of that.
Well, not right
gonna
away, of
exactly.
course.
Everything's going to be the same, blah, blah, blah. But you know how that
Yeah.
goes. It's always about the money. So
I was having to explain what net neutrality meant earlier in the week to some of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
And in a nutshell, the way I can explain it is that it's like the cable companies. You go with, say, like a Verizon. I'm sorry, with a Comcast
Mm-hmm.
or a Dish Network. And they'll sell you on a package of channels that will be available to you.
Right.
Right? If you get package A, you have to pay only this much. But if you want more, you have to pay a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe in 10, 20 years, we'll be there, but with websites.
Right.
Oh, you want to watch Netflix? You're going to have to pay a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to be able to shop on Amazon? You're going to have to pay a little bit more.
Yep.
Things like that
And
really,
that's why it sucks.
really bother me because it's all based on greed. They're
And-
making money hand over fist as it is right now.
And it's shady because they didn't let people know.
Exactly.
You know? It was supposed to be
it went
put
to
out.
vote a couple years ago. I remember. I completely voted against it because I know what it is.
Mhm.
And most people apparently did because they voted it down. They didn't get their way, so what do? They take it to the next level. They bypass the process that we have set up here in a great country and just go straight to the top to where there's people in power that will make things happen.
Exactly.
And that's a shame. That's a darn shame. This thing went to vote. It was voted against, and they said, we're going to make it happen regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, it kind of feels like our rights have been violated a bit.
Yeah, because they didn't tell us.
Yeah, they went over our heads. And that's not cool.
It's not cool, America.
But it is what it is. It happened. I don't think there's going back from this. I think that sooner or later it was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be positive here. And now we have a competition looming between all these internet providers.
The providers, yeah. Who's going to give the best deal?
When there's competition, there's going to be really good deals.
Problem, though, is
And
that there's areas where only one provider is available.
And the service is going to improve big time. One of the people that I've heard online arguing against net neutrality for many years now he was saying, well, let's just hope all the positive parts of net neutrality start to come true pretty soon, which the positive parts are, for example, when you travel to an Asian country, or most Asian countries, we all argue that the United States is the best country in the world, has the best tech, best everything. However, they're light years ahead when it comes to their internet service and providers.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what they're saying is, with all this competition that's going to be generated between internet providers, that's what we're going to see. We're going to start seeing a huge jump in our internet bandwidth as the years progress. Yes, we're going to have these things that we're going to have to pay more. It's pretty much all going to progress because it's going to come out of our pockets. But you know what? It is what it is. This
we'll
free anonymous ride that we've been riding
it's over, folks.
for like 20 years
we
now.
ran out of gas.
It's done. No more net zero.
That's right.
No more Alta Vista free internet. Forget your 30 hours a week of AOL. That's all gone, folks. So it's time to put that quarter machine next to your computer and start. Oh, I want to send an email. There's a
put in a coin.
Yep.
Oh man, that would be so bad.
Yeah, I think it's an exaggeration, but
it could happen.
It's
under these rules, it could happen.
It could happen. It's definitely a possibility now.
Yep.
Everything, all that stuff is on the table. But moving on to happier news, Disney acquires Fox.
Yeah. And that was something we've been talking about for the past 2-3 shows. They were talking, they were speculating. We were like, oh, it may not happen. But you know what? I told these guys maybe sometime Tuesday or Wednesday, Fox and Disney have been going at this for at least 5 years, dude. For at least 5 years. And you know how I know? Because I recently went to Disney World. One of the newest lands they have over there at Animal Kingdom is Avatar Land. Avatar. What does Avatar have to do with Disney? Is what every Disney fanatic was asking. Now we know. They wanted to acquire Avatar since they started construction on Avatar Land, and I can assure you they had already had some sort of agreement where otherwise why would they spend the money, so much money on building a land that you're not going to have rights to? So it makes sense.
And I think part of the writing was on the wall already, considering that they were building up this relationship for years now with Fox. And I think they were just kind of like putting the feelers out there. You know what I mean? Where it was one of those things where like, hey, build a relationship and find out if they might be interested in giving us a little bit of love in terms of selling us some of their properties. Hey, they sold Star Wars.
And you know what?
They got that Avatar Land deal done. So they started building, that relationship there. We thought the Star Wars acquisition was huge. That was nothing compared to this.
Yeah.
And now that we're here, now that it has been done, I kind of think that the real reason for the acquisition is not so much the franchises. Of course, they have a lot to do with it, but
TV.
The real big reason is the streaming service. Disney has made it no secret that they want to start their own streaming service.
Undermine Netflix.
And kind of like they saw what Netflix is doing. They had a huge contract with Netflix. And they probably thought to themselves, why is Netflix paying us so much money? Are they really making that much money?
And they are.
Somebody probably crunched the numbers and they said, hey, we better get in on this business.
Yeah. And
so now Disney acquired Fox. Fox has a big stake at Hulu, the streaming service for video shows all across the internet. It's the Netflix equivalent, but for TV shows.
Right.
And now with the stable of films that Disney has, the TV shows that Disney has,
folks,
with the Fox properties, the Fox films, the library, the everything that comes along with 20th Century Fox, you better believe Disney has a huge roster of films in their vault. You could say,
and all that's just gonna keep making money.
And
for
you
them.
know what? Pretty soon that contract that Disney signed with Netflix is gonna come to an end, and Disney's gonna bust out their own streaming service. Pay us $20 a month.
You get all these movies and all these shows. Yeah. Because there was a big argument going on with Netflix and Fox. One of the most famous shows, I think it was either Futurama, yeah. It was available on Netflix for the longest time, all seasons, and then all of a sudden it went away. And it went to Hulu. So that's like, what's going on here? And then another one was that Netflix has always asked for The Simpsons. And Fox never gave them The Simpsons. And they have been available on Hulu. I'm not sure if they're available right now, but they don't show like the early episodes. They show what's going on TV at the time. The thing with Hulu is that you can watch one day after it airs. And it's only available for a limited time. So they keep it there for like 3-4 weeks and then it goes away. So that's the rules. But now, like you're saying, if Disney's owning all these TV shows, all these franchises, they're gonna do their own thing. They don't care about Hulu. They are gonna be owning Hulu mostly, so they can keep it in Hulu or they can have their own streaming service. Who knows? It's exciting, but the most exciting thing is that we get the X-Men. We get the X-Men to join the MCU, and that's big because Infinity War, it's ending with all the superheroes that we know now. Contracts are ending. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is getting older. So is Chris
Redfield,
Captain America,
Evans.
That's right. Those characters are either gonna die or they're gonna pass on the mantle and they're gonna go away. So what do we do to replace those main characters? Bring cooler characters. Bring Wolverine. Bring Storm. Bring Cyclops. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree, man. A lot of the streaming services aside, what you are left with is these great properties for the MCU to kind of tinker with.
Yep.
Because there are superheroes there, and a lot to work with.
Oh,
because
many
they have
storylines.
to know that after this Infinity War, if they don't want to burn people out, which I do believe some people are being burnt
Doing
out
so many movies,
with so many
often,
movies,
yeah.
with Captain America,
Mhm.
with Iron Man,
Thor.
with Thor, with these guys, they're gonna have to like refresh it, hit that
Mhm.
refresh button, and what better way to do that than with the X-Men?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah.
I think that's, we also have a lot of interesting characters that they're leaving behind, but a lot of them don't seem like A-listers in terms of the superheroes.
Mm.
I think Doctor Strange is a big one that's going to be left over.
Mm.
But we'll see. I mean, X-Men.
Yeah, it's gonna be
X-Men,
the
I mean,
X-Men. It's the
I'll be
logic
honest
step.
with you. Growing up, when I thought, I've never been a big Marvel fan, right? I'm not in the sense of getting all their comics and stuff.
Mm.
X-Men, those are comics I did watch. So I think that in the right hands,
Oh,
X-Men could
and
be
it is the right hand. So.
X-Men could be much bigger than
Oh yeah, the
than
Avengers.
the Avengers, because I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, I didn't even know what the Avengers was until you explained it to me after
Mhm.
watching the first Iron Man film, and but I knew who X-Men were.
Mhm.
Everybody knows who X-Men were. They were like
Exactly.
the A-listers in the MCU. So yeah, man, exciting stuff.
So that's
for all
fun.
this. Yeah, let's see. AJ Bishop wishes me a happy birthday that's coming up. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate that. Melinda Stewart says, I pay $20 plus a month for all Disney films.
No, if
and
you
shows.
pay $20 a month for all
All of
Disney
them.
movies, like if they do their streaming
Oh,
service,
if she paid.
then that will be worth it.
theoretically
I
speaking.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. And AJ Bishop says, you look so pale.
Well,
we have a little bit of a different setup right now.
yeah, because as we said at the beginning of the show, Rick is
Yeah.
the keeper of the studio. And
Yeah.
Rick is otherwise preoccupied
You know what,
at the
though? You
moment.
could turn that lamp down on the side over there.
Yeah, I don't
Push
know.
that button.
I don't want to mess it up.
You see those blue buttons?
The button? Oh, over here.
Yeah, right there. Just push it down halfway. Maybe that'll help. Not all the way. Push the bottom button. There you go. Now bring it up there. How about there? Let's see. Does that help a little bit? There we go. Not so much shine. We're a little
There's
shiny.
little shiny. But yeah, okay, so really quickly before we forget, Shira, for those of you that were
Ooh,
kids in the
yeah.
80s, Netflix is bringing back Shira, the animated series, new animation style, new voice actors, actresses, and somewhat of the same premise of what the Rebellion was for Shira. People are complaining, why aren't we getting He-Man instead? Well, He-Man already had a shot at it. And I agree. I mean, they already remade He-Man back in the early 2000s, I believe. That's when it came back.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And those series were good, but they were shown in Cartoon Network. And back then, they didn't really have that much...
of a following.
Yeah, and
They
Cartoon
didn't
Network
put too
was
much
just...
promotion behind it either.
And no, and so it flopped, just like the new Thundercats flopped. And it's not that they
what a
were
shame.
bad shows; they were so good. But money talks, that we've been saying. So now Netflix is bringing She-Ra, and hopefully it turns out good. I think it will. So that's something to look forward to. Even though it was a girls' cartoon version of He-Man, but hey, I still watched it when I was a kid.
Yeah. She-Ra, man. I remember when She-Ra came out, I was like, what? More He-Man?
Mhm.
More He-Man? I was stoked about it. And I would see the cartoons, and I used to think that they were just as good
Yeah.
as the He-Man cartoons.
Yeah, because
Obviously, I wasn't into
appearances as well.
She-Ra because I didn't identify with her
Right,
as much.
Mostly girls.
But yeah, I mean,
And then
was
Mattel
still
released
cool.
the toys. The She-Ra version toys were kind of like small Barbies, is how I will describe them, which, were targeted towards girls, obviously. But no, good times with that. But, Leo, let's talk about Jedi. Let's talk about
yeah,
The
let's
Last
get right
Jedi.
to it, man. This is what
Because
we really...
This is
wanna do
something
today.
that Leo and I are kind of in between here.
We agree. I would have to say we agree on 90% of what we think about the film.
Yeah.
But it's that 10% where I think most people will live and die on the internet.
Let me say something to begin with. When episode 7 came out, I mean, I don't want to say that I was disappointed, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a fresh, new take on Star Wars, and all they did was rehash. And that bothered me. That bugged me to no end, because obviously we talked about this in other shows, is that they were trying to bring people in. But this is Star Wars. You don't need to bring people in. People will come no matter what you show them. And so that was one of my biggest complaints, is that it mirrored the original trilogy way too much. Well, now with The Last Jedi, there were a few instances of mirroring that I allowed because it helped move the story along. And
Plus, it was tastefully done.
yeah,
I think.
exactly. And nostalgia. Oh man, there's one scene with Luke and R2. I'm not gonna say more than that.
Before we do continue, we will get to spoilers at one point, but for now, you're still safe. We will absolutely let you know
When we're about to say a big one,
to start
if we
talking
even say anything.
with the glove. We'll take the gloves off.
Yeah.
The kitty gloves off.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, this movie, not a lot of people was into because they didn't fulfill their quote-unquote promises. There's a lot of people who feel cheated because, as Leo put it, they were developing so much the characters in episode 7, and people were expecting that on episode 8 they were going to be completely more spread out, developed, and pushed forward. It's not the case. Leo thinks that they're still the same. I think that there was a little development. But what do you think, Leo?
Okay, so I'm in the school of thought where I loved episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is kind of a rehash of A New Hope, but I think it was tastefully done. Of course, like you say, you wanted something new, not something that was
wanted
remade.
like something completely
So
different.
I can understand your dilemma with that. With episode 8, I think it's probably the most cinematically speaking,
It's beautiful.
it's the most well put
It's
together
beautiful.
film out of any of the Star Wars films, minus the whole let's just put it this way, the whole casino planet.
Yeah, that didn't have nothing to do.
I don't
in
think
there.
I don't think I'm gonna spoil any other thing.
But I
But
think
there's
that,
a casino planet
yeah.
in this, and I think that whole thing could have. There was like about half an hour's worth of film that could have been said in 5 minutes.
And that was a mission that some of the characters were following. That's why they went there. That mission had nothing. It didn't need to be done. Like that whole mission.
AJ Bishop
Yeah.
saying that Last Jedi got lower ratings than Justice League. No.
No.
Well, yes and no. Lower rating from fans, yes. Lower ratings
From people going to the movies? No. They went to the movies to see it.
But people that are critics, they give it high praises. 80 to 90th percentile, about average. And
Users, maybe. But users are crybabies.
but the hardcore
fanboys.
fans, fanboys, they give it terrible reviews.
They say it's the worst one
like
yet.
in the
I'm
40s,
like,
50s, worst one. I'll be honest with you. When I went to see this, I was so stoked. I was so excited throughout the entire film. Then once,
dude, I cried, man.
You did?
When the crawl came out, Star Wars, the sound,
Oh.
dude, I cried, bro. That's all it took.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, damn. And
Oh,
then,
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You know?
I was definitely jazzed for it. I cheered, I clapped like everybody else in the movie theater. We were all into it. I actually, this is one of the few times where I actually pay for the RPX experience.
Oh, dude,
with the extra bass.
Yeah. Oh.
I still can't do 3D though, man.
No, I can't.
I can't
It's
bring
a
myself
gimmick.
to do
It's a
3D.
gimmick.
I feel
You
like
don't need 3D, people.
I
Don't
don't
buy
know.
into it. Let it go away. Don't pay money to see it, and then it'll go away.
but
It's not worth it.
I mean,
Headaches.
once it was all said and done, don't get me wrong, it was a roller coaster ride. I enjoyed it.
You know
But
what I
once
love
it was-
the most?
once
is
it
that
was all
it's
said and
non-stop
done-
action.
Once it was all said and done, I had to kind of like take a deep breath, take a step back, and really ponder. Like, wait a minute, was this really one of those films that puts me all the way? Am I gonna be all in on this, or is it gonna be like when I came out of episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, where I came out really excited, and I was really happy that I had seen those films, but upon retrospect, they were not very good films.
Episode 2.
Compared,
That's the one I don't like.
Compared to the original trilogy,
Right.
they weren't as good.
Mhm.
So this is kind of like a feeling I started to get as soon as it was over. Like there was something missing. I felt like there was something missing.
It's the middle act.
And it's the middle act, but I started thinking like, what was missing from it? Like I really thought to myself like, okay, what did I miss? Why do I have this feeling like there's something missing? And let's just end this part so we can really get into the nitty gritty of it.
We're about to lose our viewers.
No, we got a few here. We got a few people watching us live that I think they both already saw it. But I just want to say it was a great film. The way it was shot, some story elements of it, as a fan, I was not satisfied with, and yes, it had shortcomings, but I was willing to forgive those because absolutely every single Star Wars film, except for maybe Empire Strikes Back,
They all suck.
they all have
And that's
very
coming
bad.
That's coming from a big, huge fan. Those movies, honestly, they're made to have fun with.
Yeah, exactly. They're popcorn
not,
flicks.
Exactly.
They're
They're not
popcorn flicks.
made to make you think. They're
Except-
not made to like.
Except I can argue Empire Strikes Back is the only one that's like.
Well, yeah,
one of those
because it has
films
the huge twist. You didn't expect that
right.
one. That's the only thing.
And it has a
But-
darker, more serious
Mhm.
tone. I
And
would
they,
dare
and they
even
lose.
say
The good guys lose. That's,
I would
you
dare
know,
even say like this. I was expecting this to be Empire Strikes Back.
Me too. I was expecting to see ending it. You know when I thought it was going to end? What was that part? Or when they're about to destroy the one of the transports. There's a
Yes.
scene, and you know that's where I thought it was going to end, because they were going to end the rebellion, and that was it. And I would have been fine with that. That ending would have been fine for me, because it's like, yeah, they lost, and we saw this coming, and it was going to happen. But I think this movie was more preoccupied to develop one character, and I think it accomplished that.
Okay.
And you know who I'm talking
I
about.
think I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And-
All right, well, let's end it here, and then we'll continue the conversation.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to move into our spoiler part of the the Star Wars review. So
If you haven't seen
if
it,
you haven't seen it, I
shut it
strongly
off.
recommend you like hit the pause button, shut it off, go watch the movie, then come
Mhm.
right back to us to see the spoiler review. To
Yes.
see our comments here. I just want to remind everybody, you can find us at digitalgametime.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, all at keyword Digital Game Time. Without further ado, let's get right to the spoiler review of Last Jedi. All right, Last Jedi.
Bruh.
Spoiler review.
Bruh.
Spoilers ahead. You have been warned.
So that character I'm talking about, Kylo Ren.
Man.
Kylo,
my boy.
Yeah, Kylo.
Kylo's my boy.
I will tell you one thing that I did not see coming is Kylo killing Supreme Leader Snoke. And
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
and
Okay.
I thought that
was pretty good.
I thought that Snoke was going like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? And go after Kylo, and then Rey was gonna fight with Kylo, and you know, same scene,
honestly,
but against Snoke.
I thought Rey was gonna take out Snoke somehow,
But
but
if we saw at the beginning when they first meet, or when we first see Supreme Leader Snoke, he's powerful, dude. This guy is powerful,
Yep.
and probably even more so than the actual Emperor. He uses Force lightning. He freaking can drag you around the room like
more
a
than the
ragdoll.
Emperor? Are you referring to Emperor Palpatine?
Yes.
Or? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was saying I don't think they mentioned an Emperor.
No,
in
no,
this
no,
film.
no.
Okay.
And basically, Kylo Ren just tricks Snoke into thinking that he's about to kill Rey, and he kills him instead. And I was like,
The old bait and switch.
but it brought us into perspective that Kylo Ren has now surpassed Snoke as far as power, is involved. So he's still a whiny little boy. He still throws tantrums. So that's his weakness. He does not center himself, and he does not think rationally. But he's the most powerful being in the universe at this point.
I think that's a great element. He's a loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I think that's a great element is because what would you consider more dangerous?
A crazy person.
Yeah, somebody with no brakes,
Yep.
or somebody that has a monstrous vehicle that knows better.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Restraint.
obviously
that's what helps.
the beast that has no restraint whatsoever,
Mhm.
the giant toddler,
Exactly.
and that's what Kylo Ren is. But with the performance that I keep forgetting about this actor. Look up his name. He deserves up a mention. He turned in a fabulous performance. One of my critiques for this film was
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver, kudos. Loved it. Loved it. Best part of the new Star Wars, I think. So anyway, what I was trying to say is I think that there was very, very little character development for my taste in this film from everybody except for Kylo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
The other character that was way more developed and fleshed out as well was Luke Skywalker. And this is where I have issues with Luke Skywalker. From what I saw, there's certain things that happen in this film where he thinks, oh, Kylo Ren is too powerful and he's becoming seduced by the dark side. I know what can happen if you're seduced by the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kill him and
Yeah.
end it all right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to kill him. He
And
changes
Kylo
his
reacts,
mind.
Yeah.
Kylo wakes up, sees him with the lightsaber in hand, and just like explodes everything.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, man. That seems so out of character for him because he's already been through all that. He's already been through all that with his father, Anakin Skywalker. And you can, I could argue to you that Darth Vader was the most powerful being in the universe, that original trilogy. So this whole thing about Luke have never seen a power like that before, I just don't see it. At least not yet.
Kylo is
And,
even more powerful than Vader was.
Right.
They don't really explain it in the movies,
Mhm.
but I've read the outside comics and the prequels and
Mhm.
whatever leading to the story, and it has been said many times,
Right.
and this is canon, that Kylo Ren's powers are surpassing those of Vader's and Emperor Palpatine.
And that's another issue I have. Suddenly Disney has this thing that they've been saying over and over again, like at panels and just different quotes I've heard from them. It's just like, oh, it's in the books. Oh, it's in the books. Well, then put it in the movie.
Is.
Put it in the movie.
They want you to buy the books, Leo.
That's that's all it is. And I think it's just a cop out. I think it's a cheap way of saying like, hey, it's not in the movie because we want you to like do a little. No. Put it in the films. I want to see it in the films. Like, put this stuff. I know you're doing a great effort of releasing one film per year, but I mean, come on, man. Like, I get it, but you have to admit, for somebody who, if you would have never read the books, it just seems so out of character for Luke Skywalker to do that. Like, he's not the type that would even think about killing anybody.
Yeah, but see,
Like, in that sense.
this is the beauty about Star Wars, and this is something I have said to many of my friends. Oh, excuse me, many of my family members, is that basically Star Wars gives you the option to see things however you want to see them.
Right,
And
right.
the way I saw Luke all throughout the original trilogy, he was just a farm boy. He was a farm boy that was put into a situation that he had no control over. And he went through with it because an crazy old man was pushing him to do it. And this guy, cocky pilot, was saying that you don't have what it takes. So they were egging him on. And he's like, I'm going to show you otherwise. And he went through with it.
Right.
And when he meets Vader, this is something that's already been etched in my brain. When he goes in to Endor to try to turn Vader, what's the first thing that happens? They put handcuffs on him. And Luke keeps talking to Vader. Vader doesn't care. Vader doesn't give a rat's what
Rats
he thinks
behind.
exactly. And he takes him to the Emperor, and that's when Luke realizes, like, oh crap, like he's actually turning me in. And when the Emperor actually laughs at him and tells him, well, what, you thought you were gonna turn him? Like, you know, he's way far gone. And when they have that duel, Vader doesn't hold back. Vader wants to kill Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke never turned Vader by force, by being physical against them. The only way that Vader turned was when Luke was about to die.
Right.
And so when you think about it from that perspective, Luke is no one special. Like, he did not have the force or the power to turn the most powerful being in the universe, in this case, Vader.
Right.
Vader did that on his own. And it has been told since the beginning. I mean, if you don't want to count the prequels, that's fine. But Lucas has said this trilogy is about Anakin Skywalker. Anakin is the main centerpiece. That's
and I
it.
agree. Yeah.
Nobody else. And so when you say that it was out of character for him to, like, be afraid of Kylo, no, Luke's always been afraid. Like, Luke has never had the will to say, like, oh, I can turn him easy, no problem. When he sees him
No,
sleeping,
but not so much that he's afraid, but I'm just saying to the point where he's gonna kill somebody. That's out of,
no,
for him to.
But
to
you know
go
why I
and-
like that? I like that because it's showing that he's human. That he has the struggles, like you would have the same struggle. If you were presented in that same situation, you would think both ways. Okay, I can kill him or I can spare him.
Right.
What should I do? You're having that conflict.
Right.
And so did he.
And you know, and when it's all said and done, it's not really about my opinion, but and that's something that you know I've had to come to terms with in terms of the way I view this film. And but I thought to myself, maybe I'm just being too nitpicky, because I mean, I was nitpicky about a lot of things. There's a lot of things that didn't jive well with me as a fanboy, you know, during the film. But at the same time, I thought to myself, well, I'm looking at it through a fanboy's eyes. If I was objective about it, this is all cool, you know. So I was willing to let a lot of things slide. And once it was said and done, like, I wanted to find out what other people had to say about it. I came across a few videos where Luke, Mark Hamill himself, the person who has been Luke for so many decades now, in so many ways, the guy who portrayed Luke, even he says, like, I don't agree with some of the things they did with the Luke character. It was out of character. I made my suggestions, but they were just thrown out the window. And in a nutshell, he's pretty much saying Disney's just out for money. They don't care about the characters. I mean, I think that's too harsh, because I think Disney has shown us that they have taken great care with this new trilogy of films. And but at the same time, it's like, I do agree with him in the sense that it was out of character for him to even consider that, because he's always been so noble and so pure of heart for the most part.
But when you think about the fact that it's kind of like Obi-Wan was bitter as well with what happened with Vader. I mean, when you fail a student, and when that student has turned to the dark side under your watch, how would you feel? You know, it's
don't you think you would have, like, tried to get in touch with Leia first and say, like, hey, your son
dude,
this or that,
if you're
and,
so ashamed of what happened, I mean, you know.
And I think I'm gonna have to, you know, get rid of him. What do you say?
Well, of course he's not gonna do that.
You know, and
it's his nephew. It's his sister's
son. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, being blood, being kin of his, that would be even one more reason not to even consider. But now
think about it from the point of view that, look, he's alive and he killed his father. That could have been prevented.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
so you have to see both sides of the coin. Is
right.
that, yeah, it could be out of character, but if he had done it, it would have avoided that problem.
No, I'm not saying that problem would have been, I guess, not resolved. I'm just saying for him to be the one to do that, that would have been what I think is the issue. It just seemed very out of character. And I mean, aside from that,
I like Melinda's comment.
Yeah, she thought it was cool, you know. And but the other thing is, the ending where Luke goes through this great big battle. Everybody knows about the battle that's seen it. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about it.
I was not expecting that.
It was great. I thought the battle was excellent.
I mean,
there's so many great things. I could tell there was something up because when Luke Skywalker showed up with the short beard with the Rogaine on it, you know, with the no white hairs on it anymore, I was like, wait a minute, I will tell you, there's something going on here. I will tell you one thing. What happened to my head when that happened is when everybody's shooting at him, I was like, he's so powerful with the Force that he just deflected all those shots. That was my thought, and I was still trying to work through that. And then when the actual duel starts happening, it was actually my wife, the one that mentioned it. He's like, look at that. He's so powerful that his feet don't even touch the ground. And I was like, huh. And then I noticed the lightsaber, how when Kylo struck, there was a sound lifting. And when Luke was striking, there was nothing, no effect. I was like, I guess he is powerful with the Force now. You know, he's so powerful. Never in a million years did I thought about what was actually happening. Yeah. But they give you all those there's clues, little clues in even it. Even my wife picked up on it. Yeah, like the footprints. There's no red footprints when he's walking on there. His feet don't touch the ground. Exactly. so yeah, I mean, that was amazing. It's pretty dope. I thought it was gonna go into like Super Saiyan Goku type of territory there. I was like, wow, we're gonna see a Jedi at full power. Right. But we didn't. We saw a hologram. Man. We saw Tupac, hologram Tupac. No, but that's the thing is that he said it himself. The best way is that when he tells Rey, this is not going to end the way you think it's going to end. And then the other one was that everybody has created the legend of Luke Skywalker, and I am nowhere near that legend. So he admits it himself. It's like, everybody thinks he's so powerful. He turned that Vader, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, it was all luck, Yeah. And in the end, he's just a regular Jedi. He's no more special than any of the other Jedi from the Order back in the day. Right. And you could argue the only real special Jedi is just Anakin. Yeah, exactly. Seen. And now Kylo, of course. But it all goes back to that yin and yang balance of the Force, Like, if you have so many Jedi that have these special powers and only one or two Siths. It looks as though Rey is actually at the same level, though. In this case, yes. Yeah, she doesn't know how to use it yet, but she does have the same power. Yeah. So also the allusion in episode 7 to Finn having the Force. Never totally mentioned. Got me. Never mentioned, totally man. Got me. Like that's why it's like I was arguing with this guy and said, like, Finn has not shown any Force sensitive powers, and he's like, oh, but there's this one scene. I'm like, what? Show me right now, and he shows me, and I'm like, oh crap, that would have been cool. Also, remember the scene at the very beginning of episode 7 where Finn just decides to not kill anymore for the Empire. Well, he saw how friggin' ruthless it was. Yeah, exactly. He decided to stop, and then Kylo kind of like stops and looks over at him for no reason. He wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary by that point. Things had happened, and he just looks at him for no reason, and then just goes back about his business. And I totally saw that as the awakening. I still see it as the awakening. Why? Because J.J. Abrams is back to direct the last one. And that's what I'm afraid of. And I think he's going to pick up on some of those things he kind of left over from episode 7. Because this new director, he did a lot of things right. But Ryan at the same time, Johnson, he ignored a lot of the groundwork that J.J. Abrams had left for him. He just kind of like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. I'm gonna throw that out the window. But and I understand why. What makes me scared is that the original director that was going to do episode 9, he had some issues with Disney, and it was all about creative control. This director wanted to do something supposedly, and these are just rumors, supposedly so out of the ordinary. I'm sorry to interrupt. Melinda's asking, what scene for Finn? Remember in episode 7, it's about almost an hour into the film, I want to say. I'm like not 100% sure. yeah, about halfway through the film, and he's trying to escape. They arrived on the planet with the alien with the big glasses that
with the
kind
bounty hunters.
and the bounty hunters, and he gives Finn the advice like, hey, if you're gonna run,
Do it now.
well, first before that she tells him, if you live long enough, you
You've
see
seen
the same eyes in different people.
Yeah, and that was
So-
directed at Finn.
So it was directed at Finn and kind of like letting him know, like, hey, you look familiar to me.
Mhm.
Like you have the same eyes as somebody else. That
And
I've
Leo's
known.
crazy theory is that he was a descendant of Mace Windu because he's black.
That's kind of racist, Francisco. That's kind of racist.
But he was thinking, he's a Jedi. And there's this scene where he's about to leave, and he's like, "Hey, I got my money. I'm good. I'm gonna go with these pirates on an adventure."
He's boarding a ship,
Gets
and
to
then
the ship
he hears screaming. He hears a loud bang noise, like
and looks at
explosion.
the sky.
He hears screaming, looks up at the sky.
Nothing's happening
They look-
yet.
Nothing's happening yet, and then you see the loud
The-
bang,
The
planets,
First Order exploding those planets for the Republic.
and then you hear the screaming. So
the same scene that Obi-Wan had in the Millennium Falcon when he says, "It just felt like thousands of voices were just shut down when the Death Star destroyed Alderaan."
exactly.
So that I was like, "Holy crap, Leo might be onto something."
I was hoping to see, because seeing you have Finn is the unlikely hero.
Right.
He's seen as like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm. It's all about Rey.
compared to Rey, But I would love to see what
Finn become a Jedi.
Finn become like we all think Rey is the one right now.
Mhm.
Especially she was kind of cemented into that role, especially after this episode 8
Mhm.
that happened.
Yeah, she's the Jedi. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that this episode 8 would be the one with a terrible ending,
Right.
where
Everything
There's
went
like-
to the crappers.
where like all hope was lost
Mhm.
and
Which it
nothing went
kind of
right.
pretty much is. There's like 30 people left in the rebellion,
Well, there's not that many people, but you still feel like they got the upper hand just because of Finn. I mean,
Of what,
because
Rey?
of Rey,
Mm-hmm.
and because of Rey has been able to do with no training.
Yeah.
And
But
and,
see, that's exactly
her
what's
power.
happening right now. What Leo's doing right now is the exact same issue that everybody is having.
right.
He's expecting too much. He's looking too much into
Well,
it.
why shouldn't I have?
No, and I'm not saying you
That's what I'm
shouldn't.
saying.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. But if history has taught us anything about Star Wars, it's not those type of films. It's you go in, you have fun. The good guys win. At the end of the day, they may have some struggles.
That's true. They're not supposed to be deep films.
Right.
They're supposed
That's what I'm
to be
saying.
like cartoons.
Yeah, and the Force and all the Jedi, the religion and all this has made it to the point where, like, yes, you can develop on that and you can make it mystical. And that's why I keep telling you to watch Rebels, because
Right.
a lot of that happens in those cartoons, in the books, in the comics. They go more in depth, so than the movies. And the movies are just that. You go in, you have fun. And the reason why I love this movie so much, like I said from the beginning, it's non-stop action.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's from beginning
Yeah.
to end. I was just like at the edge of my seat.
Mm.
I had like popcorn, whatever, where I was just like sporadically just finding the popcorn, but my whole attention was like it wouldn't let down. And only the scene with the casino. That's when we had a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
and
the
it had
whole
no reason at all.
The whole casino scene. I don't want to talk too much about it because it ticks me off.
Yeah.
But okay, here's the thing: animal cruelty, bad.
Arms dealers.
Rich people, bad. Arms dealers, bad.
Mm-hmm. We get a history lesson.
Another thing they tried to tell us in this film is men in position of power, bad.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that.
Nope.
Oh, we got a little visitor here.
We do.
Yeah. What's going on?
Hello.
Oh.
He just
All right. That's my son, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome, internet.
And this is probably the first Star Wars review where we have
A visitor.
a visitor. Yeah, a little visitor.
Yeah, but yeah,
From
casino scene.
No, but and the one thing that really bothered me is every male in a position of power
always makes bad
was
decisions.
was undermined by one of the females. Have you noticed that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like
it's a female power
like
movie.
it was put down, you know?
Yep.
Like, and there was not a single instance where that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even to Kylo, it happened to Kylo.
Yep.
So, I'm just thinking. I mean, and this is more of a social critique. It was not so much a critique on Star Wars, per se, but it's like, you know, Disney is one of those companies that tries to teach you lessons.
Right.
Like, what's the lesson there, bro?
Yeah. Well, you said it.
It's like, geez.
You know, PETA and arms dealers and...
Yeah, like, no, but the whole thing about...
It felt like a lecture. Like, honestly.
Man, bad.
Yeah.
Get down there. Like, you deserve lower spots in life.
But, you know, like, when the code breaker dude was telling them, it's like, yeah, you know, they'll blow you up today, you blow them up tomorrow. It's all it is, you know. It's
the code breaker, I like that character. I don't know why. He had a Roger Rabbit feel to it.
Benicio del Toro, it's amazing. He's an amazing actor.
You can't hate the dude.
No, exactly.
I mean, the role he played was kind of like not.
Yeah, and it was very surprising to see him. But see, that's another thing.
Yeah.
When he was announced that he was gonna be in the movie, everybody's trying to speculate. Oh, I bet you anything he's so and so or so and so descended or this and that, and look who he was.
Yeah.
Nobody. That's what I mean. Like, a lot of these people are nobodies, including, like we were talking about earlier, Anakin. Anakin was a nobody.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the film that left me thinking afterwards, like, the code breaker that they went to look for and that they finally found because they saw that thing on his lapel.
He seemed like a douche.
I'm really curious to...
Who he was?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know anything about him. I kind of want to know more about him. Maybe a side story or something, you know? I want to know more. But, oh well. We don't get that, says the Looper director, Johnson.
You keep blaming him, but I bet you anything this is all coming from Disney, dude.
Was he the writer behind this?
He was the writer.
Oh, then I blame him. 100%.
Well, I mean, when you say he's the writer, Disney met with the three directors, with JJ, with Johnson, and whoever the other dude was. I can't even remember his name. Before everything was said and done, Disney told them, this is the story we want. Do it.
Yeah.
So Disney already had an idea of what they wanted.
Okay.
And it was up to the directors to write the episodes according to what Disney wanted.
Right.
So you can't really put all the blame on him.
You know what? I think about it, and part of me just wishes, before I die, even if it's in written book form, I don't care. I want to see George Lucas's treatment of this new trilogy.
Oh, speaking of him,
is it out somewhere on the internet? Is there something like it?
No,
like
I actually
something.
Well, Luke read it, or Mark Hamill rather, the actor, not Luke.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and the other dude, Harrison Ford. They all read it.
I think that with his ideas, but having different directors on his films, I think that works.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, a screenwriter, somebody that could have ironed out all those.
Empire and Return of the Jedi. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, those movies are iconic.
Well, what Mark Hamill was saying is that these movies are following what Luke wrote to a certain extent. He does say, though, that there's a lot of good ideas that George had that never made it into even, planning.
Right.
But the good thing about it, like I'm saying, though, like, they're so restricted. Like, Disney wants it to not fail. And that's why the episode 9 director just bailed. Because he wanted to do something different and he wasn't allowed to.
Right.
So, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think it's fine if you take the movies for what they are. Like I'm telling you, going with an open mind.
They're supposed to be just fun.
Exactly. Don't expect much from it. Don't make all these ideas in your head.
Do you think, though, it's... Because, when we first saw them, we were children. We took them as popcorn films.
Exactly.
But now that we're grown up...
Like, you want more from
full-grown
it, yeah.
adults. Shouldn't our expectations be more refined?
Yeah.
Shouldn't... I mean, don't we have that right?
Yeah. It's
true.
I
mean, but I get it. They're made... I remember this. George kept saying it with the prequels.
Mm-hmm. They're for children.
These are films for children.
Mm-hmm. And
I think it works.
Speaking of George, he saw The Last Jedi. He loved it.
Kurt Kohler says this is the worst Star Wars movie ever made.
Oh, Kirk. Oh man.
Kirk,
I mean,
Kirk, I would like, I would love to see your reasoning behind it. I've seen so much already said about it. I'm very critical of the film, but
this
I
is
also
my boy right here.
I'm very forgiving of a lot of the elements of this film, Episode 8. Like I said, in a nutshell, I think it's probably cinematically speaking, one of the best Star Wars films
beautiful.
ever. In terms of telling a Star Wars story, I think it's one of the most backstabbing stories to a Star Wars fanboy ever made.
Oh yeah. No, and
So
I get that.
I get the rage.
Yeah.
I totally get the rage.
I get that, but like I said, if you go in just watching this movie without any expectations, like without like wanting your own theories to be portrayed on screen, it's a great film. I mean, going with that mentality, if you haven't seen it, well, if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't be seeing this right now because we told you. But go watch it again. Give it a second watch. Don't try to be mad at it. Look at it for what it is, and I assure you, you will find it in a different light, and you will probably like it because it's beautiful. It's Star Wars. It's the Star Wars universe. It's Star Wars characters, Star Wars situations, and it's well done. I was telling Leo, one of the things that really grabbed me was the little dice. The dice that are from the Millennium Falcon.
It's a nice little detail.
Yeah, there's a little backstory for you. Like I said, I'm a Star Wars nerd. Episode 4. Star Wars, the original Star Wars. People from production grabbed this like golden dice and put it on the Millennium Falcon. You know, like the old cars have the dice, you know, on the rearview mirror. Same idea. It was a joke. Later on, George Lucas expanded on that because he notices, why are those dice there? And so it's like, oh, it was kind of a joke, you know, because he's running his spaceship through space, whatever. And he's like, you know what? Let's develop on that. And so those are actually the dice that Han Solo uses to win the Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian. So that's like his trophy. And now you see the symbolism behind it when Leia grabs them in her hand. When Luke gives her the dice, she's like, damn you, Luke. You know, it's like you're pulling on my heartstrings. That was his most precious object. And they make an appearance in this movie. If that doesn't tell you that that director is so into Star Wars, I don't know what else will. He loves Star Wars, but like I said, he probably had a lot of restrictions from Disney, and that's all it is.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about this film, what would it be?
What will it be? The casino scene for sure. That's one of them. Maybe have Luke be more prominent, like be more involved. And not just, you know, like a third act.
Hey, if this is gonna be his swan song, let him be a bigger part of it.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would have personally have had Luke have Rey doing like the splits between two like pillars or something.
Yeah,
like in her
like Van
big
Damme
kickboxer training, like Van Damme.
Well, she really wasn't trained.
It was just lessons.
Luke gave him 3 lessons, and that's all he told her he was gonna do. I'm gonna teach you 3 lessons, and that's it. That's your training. I mean, when you think about it, she already
I got
knows.
so confused with the books being burnt.
Oh yeah, when Yoda comes out.
When Yoda comes out, and he burns that tree with the books in it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were still in there.
No, I thought so too.
Because they never showed like Rey taking them out.
Yeah, I know.
But at the very end, then you see like
they're in the Falcon.
A glimpse
Rey
of the
took
book.
them.
I was like, what?
So this is one thing that I loved about this scene as well. Is when like Luke is telling Yoda like, oh, I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn the books, whatever. You know, and he's going, and it's like Yoda's like, all right, okay, cool. And Luke is like, all right. So then he's about to, and he hesitates. And then Yoda laughs. It's like, oh, dude, boom, he burns them. I love that because ever since Empire, it's the whole do or do not. There is no try. You know, if you're gonna say something or do something, just do it.
Go through with it,
exactly.
bro.
So he's like, oh crap, Yoda, crazy as ever.
Well, we saw what happened when he tried to kill Kylo.
Well, he hesitated.
He tried.
He hesitated.
He didn't do. He tried.
See, now you're getting it. So if he would have go through with it, maybe he would have turned into the dark side. Maybe he would have been the Dark Jedi. Who knows? But he would have stopped a whole lot of problems.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Oh man, I just
It's
want
a
to
great
say,
movie. I love it.
going back to fanboyism, fanboying. How cool would it have been like for Ren? I mean for Rey and Kylo Ren
to actually
join forces.
You know,
That
I
would've been
thought that
kinda
was going to
cool.
happen.
You
for
know
a
what?
second.
You know what? Part of me says that did happen.
You think so?
I think it's open, bro.
Yeah, I think so.
The reason being is once they had that tug of war fight for the
Mhm.
lightsaber
Oh, when it broke,
and everything like went to heck after
Mhm.
that,
she could have killed him.
they both went unconscious. They like
Mhm.
knocked each other out somehow.
Yep.
You know, with the
But she
impact
woke
of their
up
force
first.
powers. It's implied that she woke up first
And she left.
and she booked it out of there.
But who knows if she
But-
maybe hesitated like Luke did.
But here's the thing. It's implied because we never actually saw that scene
Mhm.
where she woke up first and left.
Right?
Because
I think she was tempted.
if I recall correctly, the whole reason why they got into that tug of war was because she force called for her
The lightsaber?
for her saber
Mhm.
or for the lightsaber.
I don't want to call it hers. It's not hers.
No,
it's
it's
Anakin's.
It's Anakin's. And then Kylo kind of stops it in the middle. And so once he stopped it in the middle, it's like it turned into that tug of war.
Right.
So that tells me, at least from me watching the film, I
That
thought
she wants to strike him down.
I thought she wanted to strike him down at that point.
I see it more as she's gonna defend herself.
And
Because Kylo's about to strike
yeah,
her
that's
down.
also. I mean, that's also a possibility. We don't know. It's open ended.
But the cool thing
Which
is
is
that at the end, when
great.
they show the cracked lightsaber,
Yeah.
they show the crystal inside. I think she's gonna make her own lightsaber now with that crystal.
Aha. Hee hee.
So that would be cool.
It's gonna
to
be
see.
cool. There's rumblings of a bow staff lightsaber.
And it's also a double meaning on that because how Kylo told her, "We're done with the Skywalkers. Sorry, we're done with them. The story,
Yeah.
the old stories, it's done. It's officially done with the broken lightsaber.
Yeah.
It just means they're gonna move on their own now.
Yeah.
No more things holding them back.
Yeah. That's
and
pretty
that's
cool.
probably gonna be your best favorite
A new
movie.
start. I think they should just end
Oh,
the
man.
trilogy at the second movie and begin a new trilogy.
That could happen too.
The new
but
trilogy is gonna be episode 9, 10, 11.
Ryan Johnson,
I'm just kidding.
the director of this film, has been entrusted by Disney to make a whole new trilogy. Nothing to do with the Skywalkers anymore, but also Star Wars movie. And that makes me believe that the kid we see at the end of this film is probably going to be the centerpiece
Hey,
of
I'd
that
be
trilogy.
totally on board with that because he would not be killing off any more of our beloved characters.
Exactly.
From the
He'll be
originals.
killing his own characters.
He'll be doing his own guys in.
All right, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today for this special edition of DGT Live, where we also added a special Star Wars segment for this very special Star Wars review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, what your personal opinions are about this new Star Wars episode 9. Episode 8. And we're curious. We want to know too. We want to keep the conversation going, and but keep it civil. No hatred. No hatred. Come on. Hate's a strong word.
Yeah, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Until next time, enjoy your games. Love your families. Ciao.
It's Daddy's game time.